Sensorial, March 2025. Let's go back and see the photos edited, taken, or revisited from last month. And we immediately start with a weird format. That's film. It's APS film, the format that gave its name to the APS-C sensors. It's a Contax TS camera, an incredibly compact and a great lens, using a 200 ISO Kodak, basically I think gold film, but expired by more than 20 years. Those weird cartridges, APS cartridges, haven't been made again. I believe there's a ton of great cameras that use that format. It was the last format that was supposed to kind of slow down the arrival of digital cameras by bringing robustness, ease of use. But anyways, those really expired films, I like that. Gives those really weird colors. And here you can see these details of a bar on the left, or these roots of a tree. I really like the rendering with this reddish, bluish colors. Here again, this really strong grain. On the left, these birch trees in the snow, or that's in Iceland, or on the right, that's from a window in a hotel in Seilla in Spain. It's always interesting to experiment with those really aged film. And this camera in particular has a great lens, so it's kind of an interesting combination. Here, two photos from Iceland. On one side, you have this great waterfall, or the geysers on the right. Very touristy photos, but driven by the changes of color of that expired film. I think it's interesting. That was part of the films I actually scanned last month. I had developed it and hadn't scanned them yet. I don't know when I took those pictures, but a while ago, probably a year ago. Let's go to something more classical, but still APS. It's APS-C, an APS-C lens. So basically, I wanted to see if using one of those lenses that wouldn't be able to cover with the image a whole full-frame sensor, because all those cameras, most of those cameras are kind of full-frame digital cameras, can use APS-C lenses meant for smaller sensors. And here I wanted to try on the Leica SL2 full frame, the TT Artisan APS-C format 25 millimeter f2.0 lens. And so basically you still have 24 megapixels from the 47 megapixel sensor. And that's what it does. I'm practicing with it, and I actually kind of like it. We can imagine that the geometry is not perfect. So it's quite different. But the colors are interesting. Both scenes here in the Vaud state of Switzerland, near La Sarraz, 401 on the right, and on the left, it's more near Morges, I believe. I kind of liked the rendering of those two pictures. Here again, the picture on the left at near Eclepont, La Sarraz. It's an old mill. It's been transformed into a place for small entrepreneurs and artists. And the reflection, obviously. And on the right, that's one of those passageways into inner spaces in buildings from the early last century in Geneva in Switzerland. I kind of liked the lights and the rendering. So yeah, really interesting to be working with a lens that doesn't use the whole capacity of the camera, but I think it's got some character, and that's mainly the point I want to make here. Is like on here on the picture on the left, same equipment. The rendering is definitely different than my usual full frame lenses on that camera. It's got a modern look, but still this kind of bulgy geometry. I don't know how to name it a little bit. It's the rendering overall is really nice. I really liked it. And here it was nice to have the opportunity to compare, because I had also a camera I was testing. If you're interested in the Rollei 35AF, I've just done a video, a 6 months review, so go check it. The picture on the right, that's with this camera, using a new film from Harman, the Red 125 ISO. And just wanted to show how different a scene can be rendered. And it's dependent on the lens, but here it's pretty similar, the overall rendering. the 25 millimeter on the full frame and the 40 millimeter on this film camera. But you see that the rendering of the film, the sensitivity to reds, that's why it's named red also, makes it like all those light sources seem to glow, and it's very contrasty and really not at all the same story you're telling. It's either in terms of purely aesthetical values or simply of what you want to bring, what you want your viewer to kind of imagine going on. It's not at all the same rendering. Here we continue with this film, a very interesting film. It's the first roll I've tried of this new emulsion. So I messed it up and I was testing with this camera. So the lines, the white lines is more my way of manipulating the film, but the colors, that's definitely the film, the way it's exposed, and how the picture on the right, I believe I took a picture and I'm actually having a macro on a fence, wooden fence on the top part, and at the bottom part you actually see grass with snow. So it's actually not a completely messed up picture, but still. I really like the grain. Here again, long exposures with this film. This very weird and unexpected way of rendering colors. You can imagine some details, like you have a silhouette on the picture on the left. You can imagine some plants on the one on the right. It's hard to know what was going on there, but I did like those two pictures. Again here, as you can see, the pictures, the colors are going in all directions. Really depending on the exposure. The picture on the left is in one of those forests in Iceland, and on the right it's a field somewhere also in Iceland. But I thought it was really interesting how variable the color balance and palette is going to be. Here are two more pictures that are going into the blurry family of pictures. And those weird colors, the forest on the left, that's in Iceland. And on the right, that was this sort of real toilets, but for kids in a parking lot with this pickup truck behind. I thought it was nice, and because it's a long exposure, I messed up the exposure. I messed up the settings. I really liked what came out of it. And yeah, this film I'm going to do a specific video about that film once I'll understand a little bit more the tool, but it really renders very different colors depending on the time of day, the sunlight, the clouds. And on the left, that's in Iceland. You have this really glowy, soft rendering. On the right, that's in Geneva, the Bay of Geneva. Sunset, clear skies, very crisp, way more crisp. So it's really interesting. I don't get it yet, but I really feel you will get some really interesting stuff with this Harman film. Here again, same film, those two pictures, same place. It's near La Sarraz in the canton de Vaud, in the Vaud state of Switzerland. I'm in the same place, and it's the same time of day, but depending on the light, you're going to get really different color renderings, as you can see with those trees. And sometimes, like on the picture on the left, that's in Iceland, the forest in Iceland, one of the rare forests in Iceland. Everything is going to be kind of balanced, so you will have some colors. You can imagine the blue of the sky, the dried leaves on the floor, and some grass, and the trees kind of brown. Kind of okay, greater palette, but then sometimes, like on the right, that's Parc de la Grange in Geneva, you'll have this very bicolor rendering of things, which is really interesting in my opinion. Here again, very contrasty, the Bay of Geneva on the left, La Rade de Genève with a view, we can see the silhouettes, and behind the Bains des Paquis, the baths of Paquis, which are historical baths from the beginning of the last century. On the right, that's one of the houses, one of the manoirs in the Parc de la Grange. Very contrasty too in those colors. Super interesting. And here too, nighttime images, same equipment in Geneva. I thought it was interesting, this very orangey, very contrasty way of rendering things. Yeah, it's kind of like black and white film, but with a plus. I'm really looking forward to know more, to understand more how it renders situations, so I can control a little bit more. Then going back to this APS lens on this full frame body, London, same equipment as before, just details of London, an incredible place always to take pictures of. And on a blue sunny day like it was when I took those pictures, it's great. You have those low angled lights and everything's really crisp. The bricks, the British way of decorating the cities, or here just simple details of the city. Really liked it. Really nice to go around, and I'm actually really liking this lens, even so it's not using the full potential of the sensor of the camera. I think it's really an interesting piece of kit, and cheap also, by the way, but I'll do also a specific video about it. Here again, same equipment, London, the Thames River, viewed on both sides. The one on the left, it's at one time of the day, same day, and the one on the right, that's later during the day. The sun really moved, but gives you an idea of what you can do with one of those lenses. So only 24 megapixel instead of 47, basically because the lens doesn't cover with its image the rest of the sensor. But yeah, I really liked it. Anyways, I hope that was entertaining, gave you some ideas to try new things. And if you have questions, suggestions, as usual, comments, don't hesitate. And yeah, catch you next time.